Alright, so here we are, back with another build, and now this one is going to be a fun one. If you can't tell from the thumbnail title and just looking at the size of the parts here, this is an X-Class build. And due to the nature of building an X-Class and trying to film it on a small space like this, I'm not really going to be able to show the build. However, I'm going to go over in detail all the parts that I'm using. And then as I get things together, I'll post updates and close-ups of what I've done, because I'm not really sure exactly how I'm going to be mounting, where I'm going to put stuff, so I'll probably change it. As well as just trying to film an X-Class is pretty hard without an overhead camera, and I really don't have enough space for that, so I'm going to have to do most of the building off camera. With all that out of the way, let's start going over the components. So first up, we're going to start with the motors. These are the very, very pretty RCAddict GTS 1000. Now these are actually 4715 motors, and they are 490 kV. Now these are meant for 8S, and they didn't exactly advise for me to run these on 12S due to their high kV. However, I really wanted to make a kind of extreme build, as well as I will be limiting the total throttle in Betaflight to hopefully not burn these guys up. But these motors are a really cool design from RCAddict, really nice colors. They have a nice set screw at the bottom, which is flush with the arm and does not poke out. See that there. Moving up to the top of the motor, we actually do have holes for direct mounting with propellers. However, it doesn't seem like there's a standard, or these don't have the standard, or these GemFan props don't. These are the GemFan 13x10, by the way, which I'll be using. But the holes do not line up. You can't really see it, but they don't line up to mount, so I cannot direct screw these on, which is pretty unfortunate. And they do come with these prop adapters for sort of a normal locking nut style. You can see I have this motor here with it already on. However, the screws that come with this, they left absolutely zero tolerance and zero clearance for these screws. These are not the stock screws, and they don't fit down. They hit the sides of this metal here, and they can't be used. So it's kind of weird how nice and well finished and machined these RCAddict motors are, but at the same time they have these small issues. And I talked to some other people that had the same problems, and they don't seem like they want to address it. So it's unfortunate, but I got a set of M3 by 10mm cap screws, which have a smaller head, for about $5 on Amazon, and they fit down in there quite nicely. And there is the prop tool, or the prop adapter mounted. Now let's go ahead and get a weight with full wires on one of these motors without the prop adapter, and my scale's probably broken. But it says 318 grams here, and obviously they'll have a weight listed on their website. I really like the finish on the motors, and the 490 kV will be pretty impressive. We can pull it off. I'm probably going to start with about a 20% throttle cut, which will get us down to around 400 kV 12S, which is more common, and then we'll move it from there if things don't blow up. So next up, I'm going to go to the PDB, and this is a new power distribution board from iFlight. They're calling it the Sussex Mega PDB. You can see up top we have our pads for our ESC, signal, ground, telemetry wires. Interestingly though, they have a extra ground pad here, so they have signal, telemetry, ground, but on the ESCs here they only have, get to focus, they only have a signal and telemetry smaller wire pad out. Just thought that was interesting, since obviously these are paired and meant to go together. I probably won't run that ground wire since it's already built in. I'll just wrap the signal wire around the negative lead, as I've done before. This has a 5V and a 12V regulator on board. You can see all these small pads out here. Up here we have our pass-through through a connector, which has all of our motor outputs, battery voltage, current, and RX for the telemetry of the ESC. And flipping it on over to the other side, you can see this giant bank of capacitors here. And it's interesting that they didn't go with the sort of typical ceramic capacitors that are on the ESC. They went with these larger cap style. And I think these will be a lot more robust, hopefully, we'll see. As well as I am going to be adding some what are these, 560 microfarad 50-volt capacitors. 50-volt definitely isn't enough since the system is 12S. It'll be running 50.4 volts at full voltage. I definitely should have gotten 75 or 100-volt caps, but it's what I have, so hopefully they don't blow up, and I don't think they'll make the system worse, if anything. But I think these caps are 100 volts here. Not specific, but I think this 100 is the voltage rating here. And they're probably 541 microfarad capacitors. Probably wrong, but that's just my guess looking off them. So next we're going to move on to the flight controller. This is the Sussex Mega F7, so it does feature a F7 flight control chip. You can see we do have a USB-C connector here, which is interesting. They've been moving to that. I know the DJI system uses USB-C, and it's something I like to see overall. Eventually we're going to have to change, so you might as well start. We have a ton of pad breakouts for all of your motors, RX, TX pads, telemetry, current, everything you could need there. And then up front we have the same connector for the ESC that'll plug up there. Here's our voltage regulator circuit, our OSD chip, and our onboard flash memory for black box. Pretty standard flight controller, nothing too special to see here. I think it should hold up just fine since it's not a high current bearing load to the system. Moving on to the ESC, we have the Sussex Mega, and interestingly, this is the original Sussex that I used for my 8S build that worked just fine for me. And I thought these were quite big at the time, but man, this guy really is a honker. It's just about the same size as the APD ESC. And you can see we have, I believe these are the 96 kilohertz FETs, the ones with these white squares. We have a few more ceramic capacitors on board. We have an RGB LED, and the overall thickness of this thing is quite, well, thick. You know, it's just really heavy in the hand. Actually, let me go ahead and get a weight on it just to see how much it weighs. I'll weigh the PDB as well. So the ESC weighs 17.8 grams just by itself. The PDB weighs 39.5 grams, and the flight controller weighs 7 grams. So on the PDB and the ESC, which obviously all the current go through, quite beefy and quite a lot amount of copper there. And then here is the backside, as you can see. Pretty standard looking for an ESC. Hopefully these hold up well. The ADAS ones held up great for me. We'll have to see how it goes. Moving on to the propeller, as I said once before, the Gemfan 13x10. Pretty good propeller, however it is their first try at an X-Class prop, so I'll be interested to see if they have anything new coming soon. I wish I could use the direct mount screw holes, but the motors unfortunately do not line up, so I'll be using the locking nut. And then moving on to the last thing, which is our battery. This is a Tattoo R-Line 4006S. Obviously I'll be using two of these in series to make 12S 50 volts, as well as I have a couple of these Gen A's. They aren't R-Lines, but they only make these R-Lines, these large ones, in a couple different capacities. They have a 5100 and a 4000. I think 5100 is way too much. So the 4000 is going to be a little bit lighter for this build, which high KV and the Gemfan props should be really snappy. And that's also why I got these 6S 3300 packs, because together this should be a lot lighter and help the system perform better. And I'll just get a quick weight on the batteries for the 3300 just for one. It's 486 grams, and then the 4000, just for one, it's around 666 grams is what the scale says. Hopefully that's not an indicator of how this build's going to go, though. Alright, and you may have noticed we are missing one component, and that's because it's absolutely massive. This is the TBS Source X. I have the frame already built together here. Obviously it does not fit in camera and frame at all, but it's a pretty decent medium weight frame, very cost effective and very spacious to build in, and it should fit us just fine for the purpose of this build. And yeah, that's pretty much about it for all of the parts. So I'm going to go ahead and start building. Alright, so I have a few updates. As you can see, I went ahead and soldered the PDB with the 12 gauge wires for the ESCs, and then I have 10 gauge wire for the main LiPo connector. Probably should have gone with 8 gauge here, but since we're on 12S, hopefully it'll be okay. If it does get too hot, I can always swap it out later. Soldering this wasn't too bad. I was using the largest tip on my soldering iron, which is a big chisel, and I had it at about 440 degrees Celsius. And I made sure to have a lot of flux in the solder and just have good pre-tin, and be patient with the soldering when using big wires. I also made sure to flow the entire pad on the backside and around, so these wires are really, really solid, and I think they should be just fine. I'm going to mount that in the center of the frame, and I think I'm going to put the flight controller just ahead of it up front. I did go ahead and mount all of the motors to the arms here. They use that little, trying to show it here, this little slide-in piece just goes underneath the motor. Quick note though, however, the screws that come with the motor are M4 here, and they have a really small one, and if I can get it to focus, there is a pretty decently long one. And now when mounting on this specific frame, the short one only goes about halfway through the motor base, and the long one goes all the way up and almost touches the windings. So the short one I was worried about stripping, not having enough grip, and the long one I was worried about EMI, electromagnetic interference from the windings, especially with a really high KV, just anything X-Class. I'm worried that, you know, it can be a little bit finicky. I did not want to do that. Luckily, I was able to take apart my 8S X-Class quad, which has iFlight motors, and it had a length of screw that were just between these, so I swapped the short screws over there since it could use those just fine. And then I put the medium ones over here, and they come up, you can't see it, but they just peek above the threads, so we are all good there. But keep that in mind, if you're using this combination, you definitely want to get some medium length screws. And these are probably 9mm, and I think these ones are about 5, so you're probably going to want 7mm long screws. As well as that's the same length as these. I made a mistake earlier where I said these were 10mm. That was actually wrong. I had to go and get 7mm screws for the motor mounts. And then lastly, I've decided where I'm going to be mounting the ESC. So right now I have the motor wires going underneath in through this hole because it looks pretty nice. However, I don't think that's going to work because there's no room for the ESC in here. So I determined I'm going to put them on the arm over just a little bit to try and get it in view. So the ESC is going to sit right about here. However, there's not really a great way to mount it, as well as it's pretty uneven with the surface mount components. So I went ahead and made a file, 3D printed it. Here is the thing. You can see I have a little cutout for some of the larger components. And the ESC fits in just like this. A little hard to do one-handed. I got to hold this motor here. There we go. It pops right in. You can see we have little channels for the motor wires there, and we have a channel on the other side for each positive and negative, and this will hold it really nice and well. And you could add a little bit of sticky tape underneath if you wanted. And on the ends here where the wires will be, I have these two little slots so that a zip tie will go down over each side, and that'll hold the ESC and the mount to the arm really, really well. I use this same exact style on my 8S quad, and I just made up a new file for these ESCs. And I will be uploading it to Thingiverse. There'll be a link in the description. If you are using this ESC, you can download this for free if you'd like. And another part of this, you can see it has a little channel that it kind of slides into. The print's a little bit warped, but that's okay. So basically, when the arms go together here, there is this spot. And the ESC is too large to fit in between there. That's why I had to raise it up. But this channel allows the ESC to slide in there. Hopefully you can see the mount kind of slides in between the plates, and then the zip ties will go around it. Alright, so believe it or not, that's actually most of the work that I needed to do for this quad. Soldering the PDB is quite a lot of work, and then making this file and determining how I'm going to mount, where I'm going to mount the ESCs and the motors. Everything else should be pretty straightforward now that I have a plan set up. The flight controller should just be mounting on some standoffs and plugging in the cable to the ESC. I'm not going to be adding FPV to this right now because I need to know if it, catches on fire first. But the only other thing I need to add is just a crossfire receiver, which is just 5 volts ground, TX, and RX. So let's get to the finished build. Alright, so I'm just recording this little voiceover here because I actually forgot to film an outro of the finished build here. So I'm just going to steal this clip I had from the line of sight video that I filmed just to give you an idea of what the quad looks like here. So you can see I have everything all built up. I'm just showing the motors at the end of the arms here. You can see how I mounted the, I turned the motors around so the wires face inwards since I wasn't using that hole. And I have the gem fan props mounted to them. And then I used the 3 zip ties to hold the wires nice and straight along the end of the arm there. And they go directly into the ESC, which I'm going to show there in my little mounts that I made. And there's just 2 zip ties that hold that firmly around the arm there, and then the wires go into the PDB, which I wrapped the signal wire around the ground lead to hopefully help with a little bit of noise reduction. Up top you can see I have the 2 R-line batteries mounted, and I was mounting those using 4 individual tines LED straps since there's holes in the frame. I was considering using 2 longer straps and tightening them together, but I found that I like this method a little bit better. And it gives me a channel between the batteries to help put the wires between since I need to run them in series. It just helps hide the wires a little. So yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. I'll hopefully have a line of sight video out soon. I also did add the 100 volt capacitors on there, but I had a few problems with the flight that hopefully will be resolved soon, so I need to refilm that. But yeah, there will be links down in the description to all of the parts that I used. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.